What we're going to be working on today is the color harmonies, monochrome, complementary, analogous, and triadic color. We're going to go ahead and start by creating a 9 by 9 inch document. This time we're going to be aware that the mode that we're working in is CMYK. We'll go over that a little bit more in class. We're going to hit create to create that document. And we know that we're going to be needing to create 4 or 3 different logos, each one with 4 different color schemes today. So we're going to just start by creating a basic logo. I'm going to start by using the pen tool and just drawing a straight line and hitting escape. And now using my width tool, I'm going to go ahead and give that line a little bit of a look. And then I'm going to add a cap to the top of that line, going to my strokes palette and opening that up, and then changing the end cap to a round cap. And now I have something that looks like a teardrop. I'll just adjust this a little bit with my width tool, the line width tool. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and expand that. So object expand appearance. And then I'm going to expand that one more time. And then using my selection tool here, I'm going to rotate this and create a total of 5 of these. So I'm going to go to my rotation tool here. You can see it right here, R for rotation. And I'm going to hold the Option key down and click right above the object. That'll set the anchor point. And you can see the preview is on. And since I'll be needing 5 of these, I will select 360 divided by 5. And I'm going to make a copy, and then I'm going to Command D, and Command D. I now have 5 of these guys. I'm going to select them all, and make them a little bit smaller so they fit in my design. And then finally, I'm going to use Perfect Circle to put everything together. So it looks like something like that. I'm going to change the color of the circle by double-clicking the fill color. Notice that the stroke color is transparent for all of these. I'm going to select my direct select. I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to move this, send it to the back. And for these guys, as you can kind of see, we have weirdness in the fill here. So I'm going to select all of these objects and make sure the fill is set to some color. And there we go. And then finally, I'm going to change one of the fill colors to something different, because we'll be using 3 different colors for this this logo. Just because I want to, I'm going to select all these and then group them, Command G, and then finally select both of these items. And then using my properties panel, I'm going to center them so that they're perfectly centered and aligned. And that'll be my logo that I'll start with. So the next thing I'm going to do is let's get 3 color swatches. So I'm going to click on the rectangle tool, and I'm going to make a 1 by 1 inch square. And I'm going to put it up here. Then I'm going to hold the Option key down and duplicate that 3 times, because we'll have 3 different colors for each of these objects. I'm going to use my text tool, and underneath the swatches, I'm going to type monochrome, because this will be my monochrome color swatch set. I'm going to select that again, and then going to my properties panel, I'll notice that the character is a little small, so I'm going to make this, I'd say about 32 points. And there we go. So this will be my monochrome set. So how will I decide what to do? Well, remember the 60, 30, 10 rule, which means that we'll be picking a base color. That'll be 60% of the icon, which will probably be the background color. And then the 30% will be the 4 eye drops. And then finally, the accent color will be the 3rd one. And because it's a monochrome rule, whatever color we select as a base color will be reflected in all the other colors. So let's select the first square. And I'm going to just double click on the fill, and that's going to open up our color picker. And you can kind of see right now we have the ability to change the base hue just on this slider, and this is the hue slider, and it reflects the number here. So it goes between 1 and 255. So for instance, if I type 50, and then just move away from it. That'll be the number 50 on the hue slider. So it starts at 0 and goes to 255 usually. In this case it says 360, and that's a degrees. But as far as absolute numbers, it should be 255. But anyway, think of it like a circle. If it's saying degrees, then obviously what's on the bottom comes back to the top here. So we're going to pick a color. Anywhere in here is going to be the color that I see reflected in my fill color. And notice that if I were to just go all the way to the top, you'll see this number, this brightness number, change to 100%. And that means that anything I slide across the top will give me a different tint. And remember, the tint is adding pure color to pure hue to white to get this color that you see here. If I go down in any way, this gives me more grays. So you notice that this is a gray color, and as I move closer here, this gives me a darker gray or a lighter gray. Finally, and that's how much. So for instance, if we're in the hue slider here, and I pick this as my base color, and I want to have that as my first color, I'll just hit OK, and you'll see that this is selected, and that is our base color. I'm going to click away for one moment, and then I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. So I for eyedropper, and I'm going to click once. Nothing is selected, by the way. If anything is selected, this will not work. I'm going to click once on here to set the eyedropper tool, and then holding the option key down, it becomes an eyedrop squirter tool. And then I'm going to hit, I'm going to click once, and what I'm doing is sampling here and then squirting here. So this is my base color. So the next thing I have to do is my secondary color, which again will be monochrome. And so what we'll do, we'll need a couple new windows for you guys to open up. So I'm going to go to my Windows palette, or my Windows area here, and I'm going to open up Swatches. And you'll notice that we get a whole bunch of colors. You've probably seen this palette before, but this Swatches palette comes with some preset swatches. And this is where you will be putting all your swatches to save for this document. Every document has its own set of swatches, so when you open a document, you will see the swatches that the designer has been working on. Since none of these colors are important to us, we could always make them. I'm going to go ahead and click up here, and I'm going to select all the unused colors, anything that's not in my document right now, which is pretty much everything but black, white, and the registration, which are these right here. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the trash can to delete these swatches. Every time you make a new document, those swatches will return, so don't worry about deleting things at this point. Notice also that because I have my fill color selected here, I can actually make this into a new swatch just by clicking this little new swatch button. Clicking it once will allow me to call it something, P-U-R-P-L, purple. And I can actually use this to create that swatch by hitting OK. And you'll notice that the swatch is right here. Now this is a special type of swatch. It's called a global swatch. I'm going to double click it again. You'll notice that the global checkbox was selected and processed color was selected. We'll talk a little bit about color type. CMYK is a processed color. That means this color is being made from 4 different inks in the printing industry. But global was checked, and the cool thing about being global